Have you ever felt weighed down by memories? An event you wish you'd handled differently? A choice that still haunts you? Or a moment you can't stop replaying? Regret can chain us to the past, blocking our ability to move forward with ease. Yet centuries ago, Gautama Buddha offered insights on impermanence and self-compassion that can help dissolve these emotional shackles. His teachings remind us that clinging to what's gone only intensifies suffering. In this script, we'll explore why we hold on to regrets, how to let them go using Buddhist principles, and practical steps to rekindle a sense of freedom and possibility. Why we cling to the past. Regret often springs from attachment, the mind's insistence that a particular outcome or event should have been different. When reality doesn't match our expectations, we feel cheated or guilty. Maybe you said something hurtful to someone you cared about, or you passed on an opportunity that might have altered your career path. Clinging to these scenarios, you replay them, trying to change an unchangeable situation in your head. Buddha noted that this mental loop intensifies suffering. By fixating on should-haves, we anchor our thoughts in illusions. We imagine a static timeline where if we'd done X, everything else would remain perfect and unaltered. In reality, every choice unfolds within a web of unpredictable variables. Things might not have gone as smoothly as you imagine. The problem isn't that you made a mistake, but that you keep mentally reliving it without gleaning real lessons or allowing yourself to heal. This cycle thrives on a false notion that dwelling on regret can fix the past or redeem the pain. But lamenting what's gone doesn't rewrite history. Instead, it saps emotional energy needed to engage with what's here and now. Recognizing that regret is a form of clinging helps you see why it's so draining. Your mind fights reality, perpetually stuck in what if. Impermanence, Buddha's lesson. On constant change. Central to Buddha's teachings is anicca, or impermanence. Everything in life, conditions, feelings, even personal identities, undergoes change. When we ignore this truth, we trap ourselves in illusions of how things should remain. Past moments, whether joyous or painful, are gone. Attempting to freeze them or rewrite them in your head doesn't align with how existence flows. Imagine your regret as a photograph you stare at, hoping the scene might shift. But the photo remains static while life marches on around you. Acknowledging impermanence means accepting that the past is already in motion towards something else. No matter how attached you are to that one snapshot, the forces of time continue. For Buddha, internalizing anicca frees mental space. If you embrace the fact that nothing, including your regrets, holds permanent sway, you begin releasing the emotional grip tying you to bygone moments. This approach doesn't deny accountability for mistakes. Instead, it invites you to incorporate them into the ongoing narrative of growth. If you realize you erred in a relationship or a career choice, you can glean the insight, maybe a clearer sense of your values, or a refined skill for future decisions. And then let that past version remain in the past. You carry forward the learning, not the chains of regret. Overcoming regret through self-forgiveness. One reason regrets gnaw at us is self-blame. We label ourselves incompetent, cruel, or foolish for what we did or failed to do. That negative self-talk cements regret as we continue punishing ourselves mentally. Buddha's teachings highlight compassion, not just for others, but for oneself. Without self-compassion, you get stuck in a cycle of shame, which ironically can spur more avoidance and procrastination. Self-forgiveness recognizes that you, like all human beings, are in a constant process of learning. Mistakes or missed opportunities often reflect limited knowledge or emotional states at the time. You can't alter that context now, but you can choose to be kinder in your internal dialogue. Instead of repeating, "I'm such a failure," try a mindful reflection. I made a choice based on what I knew then. What can I learn from it? This shift from condemnation to curiosity relieves the sting of regret, paving the way for real emotional healing. In Buddhist practice, self-compassion forms part of the path to ending suffering. If you perpetually attack yourself for past errors, you can't fully open your heart to present possibilities. By tenderly acknowledging your own fallibility, you do more than soothe guilt. You create an inner atmosphere conducive to calm, wise action. Buddha recognized that genuine growth, spiritual or otherwise, demands this gentle acceptance of human imperfection. Mindful reflection, turning regrets into insights. Dropping regret doesn't mean burying your head in the sand. Buddha advocated mindful reflection, examining your regrets to glean lessons, then releasing them. Think of a farmer who checks a failed crop. He inspects the soil conditions, the seed quality, the weather patterns, and then adapts for the next planting. He doesn't stare at the barren field in despair forever, lamenting that it should have thrived. He learns and moves on. You can do something similar. First, label the regret by writing it down. Clarify precisely what you regret, the event, the choice, or the words you spoke, so you avoid vague self-blame. Next, identify your triggers and motives, reflecting on the emotional state or external pressures that shaped your actions. Maybe fear or pride influenced you, or you lacked certain information. Understanding the context gives you a fuller picture. Then extract the lesson. Ask yourself what can guide you in future scenarios. Perhaps improved communication or verifying facts before you decide. This step transforms regret from a mental prison into a stepping stone. Finally, release the scenario after learning its lessons. You might visualize sending that memory on its way, like letting a leaf float off in a river. A symbolic gesture can help break the cycle of mentally rehashing old events. This structured reflection, akin to a short meditation or journaling session, fosters calm resolution. You honor what the past taught you, yet disengage from its emotional weight, aligning with the Buddhist principle of mindful living. Practical steps to let go. Embodying Buddha's teachings. Letting go can feel abstract, so here are tangible ways to cultivate non-attachment and reduce regret. A daily mindfulness practice might involve spending 10 minutes on breathing meditation, simply labeling drifting thoughts, regret, memory, anger, and gently returning to your breath. Repeatedly doing this trains you not to identify too strongly with mental noise. Metta, loving kindness. Meditation can also help. You begin by extending compassion to yourself, saying, "May I be well, may I be free from suffering," and gradually include others, even those tied to your regret, wishing them peace. This dissolves self-anger or self-disgust. You can further set clear boundaries with the past. If you find yourself spiraling into what-ifs, designate a short weekly reflection period for analyzing regrets. Outside that allotted time, vow kindly to redirect your mind to present tasks, cutting down on aimless dwelling. Supportive community also matters. Sharing your struggles with empathetic friends or a sangha community can release pent-up emotions and remind you that you're not alone in dealing with burdensome memories. Finally, sometimes taking action helps catalyze healing, like apologizing if you hurt someone or volunteering for a cause related to your regret. By transforming stuck energy into forward movement, you neither ignore regrets nor wallow in them. You glean insights, adjust, and move on. This balanced approach reflects the Buddhist middle way, merging reflection and compassion with practical steps toward lasting relief. Compassion for others, freeing yourself from blame. Letting go of regrets often intersects with letting go of blame, not just for yourself, but for others who may have contributed to the painful event. If you resent someone you feel caused your regret, that resentment keeps the entire scenario alive. Buddha stressed that holding grudges or resentment shackles your mind. It's another form of attachment. Compassion extends beyond personal regrets. Perhaps a loved one's betrayal triggered your spiral of "if only I'd seen the signs sooner." Even if their actions were hurtful, harboring resentment only fuels the negativity you're striving to release. Compassion doesn't excuse wrongdoing, but it acknowledges that people act from their own ignorance or pain. By stepping into empathy, you reduce emotional turbulence. This shift from blame to understanding helps you mentally part ways with the event. You see it as a confluence of many factors, not a single person's malicious intent. That perspective fosters a sense of closure, recognizing that pointing fingers or fuming won't rewrite the past. Instead of entangling your identity in victimhood or anger, you focus on how you can heal and learn, broadening your capacity for insight and kindness, building a forward-focused mindset. Ultimately, releasing regret paves the way for a forward-focused mindset. Buddha's teachings highlight the power of the present moment as the real arena for growth and transformation. If you're perpetually replaying old scenes, your attention is absent from the now, where solutions and opportunities unfold. Adopting a forward-looking attitude may involve setting fresh goals or re-energizing old aspirations with a kinder, more informed approach. If you once bungled a career move, you can revisit your ambitions with renewed clarity, unburdened by crippling self-doubt. If you damaged a relationship through careless words, you might practice more mindful communication going forward. These shifts illustrate that letting go of regret isn't passive forgetting. It's harnessing your experiences to fuel constructive change. Buddha's path was all about continuous refinement. Each moment opens the possibility for more skillful speech, more mindful action, and deeper compassion. Your regrets, seen through this lens, become lessons guiding you toward better decision-making and stronger emotional resilience. Instead of longing to rewrite the past, you invest in shaping the future. This reorientation is what monks strive for daily, living now, anchored in ethical clarity, free from the mind's old baggage. Buddha's message on letting go of the past underscores that regret locks your mind in what can't be changed, draining your capacity to thrive. By applying Buddhist principles like mindfulness, self-compassion, and acceptance of impermanence, you can release old burdens and direct your energy toward meaningful actions now. Which step feels most liberating for you? Let us know in the comments. And if this resonates, like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Monk Mindset, for more insights on healing regrets, embracing the present, and finding inner peace. May each lesson guide you to freedom from past entanglements,